Hello, my name is Christina Hawk, and today we're going to look at how the United States expanded from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific Ocean in a 50-year time frame. At this time, the United States has already acquired everything east of the Mississippi River, and now we're going to see how we expand from the Mississippi River all the way to California. First off, it was all based on America's notion of manifest destiny. And if you look at I guess she's kind of like an angel, she's moving west. She was saying that it was the United States' obvious fate to settle to the Pacific Ocean. It was America's right to spread from sea to shining sea because of spreading democracy. I really like this image with the angel in it because if you look in the background where it's kind of darker over here to the top left, you can see those are the mountains she's trying to cross, the Rocky Mountains. You also see telegraph wire right behind the angel as well as she's spreading communication west. All of this is leading to manifest destiny, the United States reaching from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast. The first major part we acquired is in the dark green of this map, right in the middle, and that was the Louisiana Purchase. Thomas Jefferson was president at this time, and he was the one who was credited for buying the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. He bought it from France for the equivalent of today's money of $15 million. The major thing he wanted to get through the Louisiana Purchase was the port city of New Orleans, which is right down here at the tip between Florida and Texas. And the reason he wanted New Orleans was it was a great way for us to ship goods and products up the Mississippi River or down the Mississippi River, and then the products can go all the way to Europe through the Atlantic Ocean. By purchasing the Louisiana Purchase, he more than doubled the size of the United States at this time. So at this time, the United States is everything that is in orange on the map, okay? And then after the Louisiana Purchase, we get this green territory. So we've doubled now in size. The next chunk of territory that was acquired was in 1819. Andrew Jackson was fighting the Spanish over the territory of Florida, and we acquired it through that. The reason Florida was an area of concern is the Seminole Indians were running away from Georgia because Georgia was American territory at this time, and they were running down into Florida, and this was causing conflict because they were attacking and then running off. So Andrew Jackson and his men invade Florida and take control of it and gain control of the Seminoles. And Spain ends up giving Florida to the U.S. for $5 million in 1819. The next major part that is completing the manifest destiny is the Oregon County, or the Oregon Country. And the United States acquired this in 1846, and who we're fighting with is with Britain at this time. Britain and the United States are both arguing over the Oregon Territory. It doesn't come to an actual fight, and what happens is it's more than just the state of Oregon. It also goes up into southern Canada as well. So what they do is they just split the territory. They make a compromise. The United States gets everything south of the 49th parallel, and Britain gets everything north. So they just divided the territory in half, and this is how the United States acquires the state of Florida. And Great Britain then has everything north of it. The next territory the United States acquires is this yellow chunk of land. The United States acquires this yellow chunk of land through war, the U.S.-Mexican War. The U.S.-Mexican War took place from 1846 to 1848, and President Polk is at this time, or is president at this time, and he is often known as our Manifest Destiny president because it was his goal as being president to expand the United States from sea to shining sea. So he was trying to acquire all the land all the way to the Pacific. So what happens is After the U.S.-Mexican War, the U.S. annexed Texas in 1843, and Mexico and the U.S. are disagreeing over the southern border of Texas, over which river should be the border. And what ends up happening is after the U.S.-Mexican War, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ends the war, and the United States ends up acquiring the land in yellow. President Polk did offer to buy the land in yellow before the war started, but Mexico refused, and this led to the war, which the United States won, and that's how we expanded that land into California. Oh, we're going to go on to this. There's no reason to take notes over it. Most of what we said was touched in the previous slide. Now, the final chunk of land is really, really small. It's just the southern part of Arizona and New Mexico. And after the U.S.-Mexican War, Mexico still owned this land. And the reason the United States wanted it so bad is it was relatively flat going through the Rocky Mountains. And we wanted to expand our railroads all the way to California. So we ended up making a deal with Mexico to purchase this. And Mexico charges $10 million for this little chunk of land. It was most definitely overpriced, but the United States really needed it if they wanted to complete their railroads. And the Mexican leaders were still upset about how the U.S.-Mexican War turned out, so they weren't really looking to work with the United States. They didn't mind overcharging us. So, to kind of conclude, we were looking at Manifest Destiny, which is Americans' God-given right to expand from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And we do this through the Gadsden Purchase, the U.S.-Mexican War, we get the California area, Oregon Country, that's Oregon State, and that's when we were fighting with Britain. Florida, we get the territory of Florida when Andrew Jackson is defeating the Seminoles and buys it from Spain. The Louisiana Purchase, Thomas Jefferson bought from Napoleon Bonaparte in France, especially for the port city of New Orleans. And all of this is completing Manifest Destiny. Thank you.